Good afternoon, the committee. Associate Professor Dr. Napasaplert the chairperson. Assistant Professor Dr. Vichitra the committee, and Assistant Professor Dr. Rapipon Soinam, the committee. My name is Bongkarn Ouynok. Today I'm going to present my proposal. My proposal entitles Using Scaffolding Technique to Improve Matthayomsuksa 3 Students' English Reading Comprehension Ability, or in Thai การใช้เทคนิค Scaffolding เพื่อพัฒนาความสามารถด้านการอ่านภาษาอังกฤษเพื่อความเข้าใจของนักเรียนชั้นมัธยมศึกษาปีที่ 3 My advisor is Assistant Professor Dr. Rapipon Soinam. I will start with the rationale and background of the study. Reading skill is important for expanding knowledge and gaining experience. However, Thai students are considered poor at it. Due to the English reading problems of Matthayomsuksa 3 students at Ban Sang Swang School, that the result of learning achievement of English reading subject in the academic year 2019 was 26.13%, which is very low. It shows that the students did not understand the reading text. So, the researcher would like to improve students' English reading comprehension ability using scaffolding technique. Next, the purposes of the study. The first one is to study and compare Matthayomsuksa 3 students' English reading comprehension before and after studying using scaffolding technique. The other one is to investigate students' attitude towards teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique. The hypothesis of the study. The students' English reading comprehension ability using scaffolding technique will not be less than the set criterion of 70%, and English reading comprehension ability of Matthayomsuksa 3 students after studying English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique will be higher than prior. Next, let's move on to the scope of the study. The population of this study will be 75 Matthayomsuksa 3 students from 4 classes in Nong Sang 2 group, Nong Sang District, Udon Thani, under the Office of Udon Thani Primary Educational Service Area 2. And this study will be conducted in the first semester of the academic year 2021. The duration is 12 weeks, 2 hours a week, and 24 hours in total. The reading texts used for teaching the English subject of Matthayomsuksa 3 students in the study are from Spark 3 textbook, Access 3 textbook, and Internet, based on the Basic Education Core Curriculum AD 2008 of the Foreign Languages Department, English. The 12 reading texts: Extreme Jobs, Extreme Looks, When Lightning Loves You, Shark Attack, Crime Doesn't Always Pay, Monuments in Danger, Greeting from the Planet Earth, Forest School, Life in a High-Tech Society 40 Centuries Ago, Sarah's Diary, Annabelle's Diary, True Stories, Duos, Undersea Lodge, and Edinburgh Ghost Walks, and Digital Divide. Next, the literature reviewed in this study includes the Basic Education Core Curriculum AD 2008 of the Foreign Languages Department, English, Communicative Language Teaching, Reading, Reading Comprehension, Assessment of Reading, Scaffolding Technique, Attitude, Related Research Studies, and Steps of Teaching English Reading Comprehension using Scaffolding Technique. The steps of teaching reading in this study is from Brown 2001, which is divided into 3 activities: pre-reading activity, during reading activity, and after reading activity. Scaffolding technique. Scaffolding is a structure that the teacher or adults who have more knowledge use for helping and supporting learners to learn better when they face difficulties or problems. When the scaffold is already given and the learner can get through the problems by themselves, the assistance will be reduced gradually. The scaffolding technique in this study is from Vanderpoel, Volman, and Bayhuizen 2010, which they remarked that 6 scaffolding means should be involved as follows: feedback, hint, instructing, explaining, modeling, and questioning. Feedback involves the provision of information regarding the student's performance to the student himself. Hint entails the provision of clues or suggestions by the teacher to help the student go forward. Instructing involves the teacher telling the students what to do or explanation of how something must be done and why. Explaining refers to the provision of more detailed information or clarification by the teacher. Modeling is the process of offering behavior or for imitation. This can include the demonstration of particular skills. And questioning involves asking students questions that require an active linguistic or cognitive answer. Now let's move on to the steps of teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique. The researcher adapts the 6 scaffolding means of Van der Poel, Volman, and Bayes in 2010, and the 3 steps of teaching reading of Brown 2001. In the pre-reading activity, questioning step, the teacher shows a picture related to the reading text and asks students questions about the picture to activate students' prior knowledge. Instructing step, the teacher teaches vocabulary about the reading text and asks them to write down the vocabulary on their notebooks. Modeling step, the teacher teaches sentence structures appearing in the reading text by giving some examples from the reading text and asks them to write down the structures on their notebooks. Hint step, the teacher divides students into groups of 4 with mixed ability. After that, the teacher distributes a reading text to students in each group and asks them to preview a text. And then the teacher distributes worksheet 1 to students in each group and asks them to answer WH questions about the reading text as the predictions. In the during reading activity, explaining step, the teacher explains how to find the main idea and important details in the reading text, and then the teacher distributes worksheet 2 to students and asks them to write down the main idea and important details. And then the teacher and students discuss the main idea and details in worksheet 2 together. And after that, students check their predictions on worksheet 1, whether they are correct. And the teacher distributes worksheet 3 to students in each group and lets them write the summary of the reading text using information from worksheet 2. And in the after reading activity, feedback, the teacher asks each group to present their summary to the class. And then the teacher and the other groups give feedback to the group that has just finished the presentation. And after that, the teacher distributes worksheet 4 to each student and asks them to do the English reading comprehension exercise. And then the teacher and the students check the answer and summarize the lesson together. Now let's move on to the research methodology. The sample in this study will be 25 Matthayomsuksa 3 students who are studying English in the first semester of the academic year 2021 at Ban Sang Swang School. These students are selected by cluster random sampling. This study is an experimental research with a one-group pre-test and post-test design. It is a quantitative research design, which T1 means pre-test, T2 means post-test, and X means teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique. There are 3 research instruments in this study. The first one is lesson plans of teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique. The lesson plans consist of 12 units with 2 hours a unit, 12 weeks, 2 hours a week, and 24 hours in total. The second one is an English reading comprehension ability test, which is a multiple choice test with 40 items. And the last one is an attitude questionnaire towards teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique, which will be developed in Thai version, based on SIOT and SIOT 2000. Now let's move on to the processes of constructing the three instruments. The first one, the process of constructing lesson plans. Step 1. Construct 12 lesson plans of teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique. And then hand in the lesson plans to the thesis advisor in order to check correctness, revise, and refine them. After that, hand in the revised lesson plans to 3 experts in teaching English in order to examine the content validity, correctness, appropriateness, and relation between the objectives and learning activities and evaluation. And after that, analyze the collected scores from the 3 experts for the index of item objective congruence, or IOC, which should be between 0.67 to 1.00. And then revise the lesson plans according to the 3 experts' suggestions, and then hand them in to the thesis advisor to check again. And then carry out a pilot study in order to check if the lesson plans work well in a similar context before the main study will be conducted. And revise, improve, and refine the lesson plans based on the information obtained from the pilot study. After that, implement them in the teaching program for 12 weeks. Next, the process of constructing an English reading comprehension ability test. First step, construct 60 items of English reading comprehension ability multiple choice test, and then hand in the test to the thesis advisor in order to check correctness between the objectives and the test items. And then revise the test according to the thesis advisor and hand it in to 3 experts in teaching English to examine the correctness and between the relation between the objectives and the test items and evaluation. And after that, the collected scores from the 3 experts will be analyzed for the index of item objective congruence, or IOC, which should be between 0.67 to 1.00. And then revise the test according to the 3 experts and hand it in to the thesis advisor in order to recheck. And after that, revise the test and carry out a pilot study with Matthayomsuksa 3 students who do not take part in this study. And then select 40 items of the test. The difficulty value of the items should be between 0.20 to 0.80, and the discrimination value should be between 0.20 to 1.00, and the reliability of the test should be 0.80 to 1.00. And then construct the final form of the test to employ with the sample. And the last instrument, the student's attitude questionnaire towards teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique. First step, construct 25 items of an attitude questionnaire towards teaching English reading comprehension using scaffolding technique related to the content using 5-point Likert rating scales, and then hand in the attitude questionnaire to the thesis advisor. And after that, hand in the revised attitude questionnaire to 3 experts to examine the content validity, construct validity, and language accuracy and evaluation. And after that, the collected scores from the 3 experts will be analyzed for the index of item objective congruence, or IOC, which should be between 0.67 to 1.00, and then distribute the student's attitude questionnaire to the sample after the teaching program. Now let's go to the data collection. Here are 5 steps of how to collect the data. The first one is, the students take the pre-test using English reading comprehension ability test with 40 items in 1 hour. Next, the researcher conducts the teaching English reading comprehension program using 12 lesson plans for 12 weeks, 2 hours a week, and 24 hours in total. And after that, the students take the post-test using English Reading Comprehension Ability Test as the pre-test in 1 hour. And next, the researcher distributes the students' attitude questionnaire to examine towards teaching English Reading Comprehension using scaffolding technique. And then the researcher analyzes data from the pre-test, post-test, and the attitude questionnaire towards teaching English Reading Comprehension using scaffolding technique by using the SPSS program for Windows. Data analysis. The researcher will analyze data to study and compare English Reading Comprehension skill both before and after studying. The statistics used in data analysis are mean score, standard deviation, percentage, t-test for dependent samples, and one sample t-test. And then the researcher will analyze data to study students' attitude towards teaching English Reading Comprehension using scaffolding technique by using SPSS program for Windows. As I have already mentioned before about the statistics used in the study, the basic statistics used to analyze data are mean score, percentage, standard deviation, and the statistics used to evaluate the quality of the instruments are the index of item objective congruence or IOC, difficulty index or P, discrimination index or R, and reliability of the English Reading Comprehension Ability Test using SPSS program for Windows. And the last point, the statistic used in the study to analyze the hypothesis. The first one is one sample t-test, which is going to be used for comparing students' English reading comprehension ability after learning, and the set criterion of 70% using SPSS program for Windows. And the other one is t-test for dependent samples, which is going to be used for analyzing the differences of the scores before and after learning using SPSS program for Windows as well. That brings the presentation to the end. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I will be very pleased to get the comment and suggestions from the committee.